What's up, everyone? And today I am bringing a deck profile on my Appliancers. Now this is a deck that, well, as the recording of this video, just came out today. Oh, this is probably coming a day after. Or two, I don't know. But I've actually been pretty excited for Appliancers. I also want to do a deck profile on Numeron, although I may not be able to do that, depends. But I'm going to have to get some, but as far as Numerons, I'm going to have to get some other cards before I do that first. But as far as Appliancers, I already got everything I need. Each month I'm doing this thing where I'm letting you vote for one deck, or deck profile, that I do each month. As a recording of this video, there hasn't been a single vote. So let's say you vote for, I don't know, Witchcrafters, and no one else places a vote. Well then, I'll be doing a deck profile on Witchcrafters. So it's kind of my way of letting you decide a little bit of this channel's content. But let's get into the deck profile. Now first off, I run 3 Appliancer Socket Rule, 3 Copy Buckle, and 3 Breaker Buckle. Yeah, their names are kind of weird. These are the only 3 Appliancer's effect monsters, well, aside from like links and that. But as far as regular monsters, it's just these 3. So, and you want to max out on all of them. First up, on the socket roll, if you control an Appliancer, you can special summon it from your hand to the field, and if another Appliancer socket roll is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can special summon another socket roll from your deck. Now, as far as Copy Bullet goes, this, if you control, you target one Appliancer monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, this card's name becomes that monster's name until the end phase, as well as during the main phase. Except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to target one Appliancer monster you control, special summon one Appliancer monster with the same name from your hand or graveyard. And Breaker Buckle is essentially more of a kind of like a hand trap. It has a quick effect to discard. During damage calculation, if an Appliancer monster you control battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can discard this card for that battle. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle, and also you take no battle damage. And if an Appliancer monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. So it's a hand trap and a bit of protection. Now, if you notice, one thing is that they're all level 1, so a lot of 1-for-1 synergy right there. And Link Revo. Now, since it is a machine-based deck, I run 2 Cyber Dragon and 1 Cyber Dragon Hertz. As for the Hertz, you'll see why, because Cyber Dragon and Cyber Dragon Hertz work with Machine Dupe, because one thing with the Appliancers, like, this one has 100 attack, and that's the highest attack out of any of these, so they work with machine duplication really well. And so that's why I also got Cyber Dragon Hertz, and this also can be Link fodder too. Speaking of Link fodder, I also run 3 Formud Skipper. Formud Skipper is a card I don't really think is all that great. It works in Salamangreats, but one thing I realized, it also works in this deck much better compared to Salamangreats. Because this can essentially replace itself with a monster in your extra deck, so you can make this card become an Appliancer Laundry Dragon and then link it into a Laundry Dragon or something like that. But that's not the best part of this card. The fact is that when this card is sent to the graveyard for a link material, you can add 1 level 5 or higher Cybers monster from deck to hand. And I happen to run 3 Parallel XC. This is a really good card for link climbing, which you do in this deck. First, this has 2 effects. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone that link monster points to. And if this card is normal special summoned, you can special summon 1 Parallel Exceed monster from your deck. So essentially what would happen is you summon that to a zone that link monster points to, special that. And Formud Skipper allows you to search out Parallel Exceed. So yeah, some synergy there. I also run one Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. The Appliancers are dark types, and most of the Appliancers are dark types. Great Carbuncle's water, but since this deck does do a lot of linking and link ups and stuff like that, and this deck also doesn't really have a really good, it doesn't have any negations. It doesn't have any disruptions or anything like that, which is the one downside and weakness to this deck. That's why I run this. That way, if you can stop your opponent from a special summon from the extra deck, you essentially stop their deck, because pretty much all meta decks do that. So this is definitely a good card. I kind of call this card like a meta check kind of way. Helps these lower tier decks kind of hang in there a little bit more. Next, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring for obvious reasons. I had some room, so I threw that in there. Now on to the spells. I run 3 Appliancer Electrical Whirl. Or electrically something. And when this card is activated, add an Appliancer. I keep wanting to say add Emancipator. When this card is activated, you can add one Appliancer card from your deck to your hand, except the field spell. And once per turn, if you link summon an Appliancer Link monster, you can add one Appliancer monster from your graveyard to your hand. So it's also a good way of, let's say, you normal summon this, and then special summon this, you can link this away. This allows you to add this back to your hand so you can use this hand trap effect. And once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can remove one Appliancer monster you control to another of your main monster zones. There's another Appliancer Link monster that can do the exact same thing about moving zones. Because one thing I noticed about this deck, the Link monsters, they don't have any side arrows, so that can be a bit of a problem. Thankfully this and another card helps out. Oh, and Terraforming. Next, I run 3 Appliancer Reuse. It's your monster reborn for the deck. The only downside is placed on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. But that's usually not too much of a downside. I also run 1 Appliancer Test. Originally I had this at 3, but when I was practicing with it, I realized that running a pure kind of like version that mainly focuses on the Appliancer extra deck monsters, this doesn't really work. So I had to change my extra deck around, which made cut out a lot of the Appliancer Link monsters, which made this a lot less useful. Because this allows you to target an Appliancer Link monster you control, special summon as many Link 1 Appliancer monsters from your graveyard as possible. So it's the sole charge for your Link monsters, or your Appliancer Link monsters. The only one downside is that the Appliancer Link monsters cannot be Link summoned the turn they are Link summoned, or be used for a Link summon the turn they are Link summoned. If they did not have this effect, this would be a 3 of, but that, yeah, I think you can get the Link monsters aren't all that great. Now next, the obvious 3 Machine Duplication. It works with Hertz, it works with all the Appliancers, so it's a really good card. With it being a machine deck, I also run 3 Limiter Removal, in case you want to go in for that kill. I also run 1 Monster Reborn, because you want to do a lot of link climbing. Of course, along with that, I also run 1 World Legacy Succession, a 1-for-1 since pretty much all level 1s, and an Upstart Goblin. Now I don't run any traps, so on to the extra deck. I run 2 Appliancer Laundry Dragon and 2 Appliancer Dryer Drake. Out of all the Appliancer links, I'd say these 2 are my favorites. Because Laundry Dragon is kind of like Eater of Millions. Once per turn after damage calculation, if this co-link card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. And when you battle, you can destroy an opponent's monster. You destroy that opponent's monster. If you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. And then we got Dryer Drake, which is kind of like the field spell, the one that can move the Appliancers around to different zones, but that's only if it's co-linked. Sad. I also run 2 of Coppa Scale. Originally I was down to 1, but then I brought the second back one for its last effect. Distribute this card that is not co-linked to special summon 1 level 4 or lower appliance monster from your graveyard. And I also run the 1 Appliancer Celtipus. That's it for the Appliancer links. So as you can tell, I don't run the Vacuum Elephant. Honestly, out of all the Appliancer ones, this is my least favorite, so I just cut it out entirely. Since they're all level 1s, gotta go with Link Rebo. I also run 1 Union Carrier, a Nightmare Phoenix, a Crusader Equimax, a Borosword Dragon, and a Saryuja Skull Dread. I'd say these are the 2 I probably use the most, because a lot of times I'll go into Union Carrier and then use this and another monster to go into Crusader Equimax. Of course, Nightmare Phoenix is just really great. Link 2 can do a lot of it helps with co-linking, and it also has an arrow, unlike the Appliancer Link monsters. And of course, Borosword Dragon, Saryuja Skull Dread, they're just really good Link 4s. I run 1 Fusion, Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Considering this is a machine-based deck, I do run Cyber Dragon. And I also run a number 54 Lionheart. Well, that's going to be all for this video. As I said at the beginning of the video, vote on the deck profile you want me to do for the next month, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.